If it's legal, is it okay? That is the question being asked by a self-described former lesbian who says a homosexual lifestyle has unhappy consequences. And the source of this is Sylvie.mp4. She's an author, wrote Insight in Sight. Was I born like this? Sylvie.mp4 is on the line with me right now from Toronto. Sylvie, thanks for joining me this evening.
Thank you, Barry. Great to be here.
I have to admit that I was very curious to find out more about your story. And just from the outset, though, when you say a homosexual lifestyle has unhappy consequences, that's a pretty wide brush, Sylvie, and it seems to almost suggest a condemnation of an entire group of people. Is that what you were going for?
No, absolutely not. It is. I present all this information in the book and answer many difficult questions simply so that I can inform them of this information that I personally wasn't aware of when I was living the non-straight lifestyle. To be very, very clear, I am not trying to come against the non-straight community. I'm trying to share truth that the government is not sharing so that they can make the best lifestyle choice for themselves, their future, and their family.
What's the government not sharing?
The negative consequences, because
Which are?
Okay. Let me explain so that we can kind of get a better understanding of what's going on here.
Sure.
I've discovered that there are absolute truths to everything in life. And it's our responsibility to learn the truth so we can live a good, healthy, prosperous life. Anyone can choose to eat, for instance, anything, anyone can choose to eat nothing but junk food day in, day out, and that is their free will choice.
Right.
However, is that a good or right decision? No. Why? Because although we have the legal right as well as the free will right, choosing to live this way violates divine law, which governs our health, well-being, and quality of life. And what I've discovered is that living a non-straight lifestyle also violates this same divine law. That's why many people struggle with confusion, indecisiveness, even some with suicidal thoughts. Breaking divine law causes us to be confused, frustrated, stressed, feel misunderstood, even rejected. So these are the negative consequences that the government is not sharing with us.
Well, I would like you to give me like a specific circumstance, for instance, and maybe we should probably start at the beginning as well.
Sure.
Well, I've mentioned before, but it's worth repeating. You were born straight, according to you, and then you embraced the homosexual lifestyle for quite a few years,
yes.
And then you turned your back on the homosexual lifestyle, and now you say you are a straight woman again. And with all due respect, Sylvie, it sounds like you may be bisexual.
Yes, yes is not my answer. Yes, I understand what you're saying. However, no, the answer is I am not. In fact, just to clarify, I was in this lifestyle for 13 years. I was so involved in this lifestyle that I fought for gay rights. And I fought for the privileges that the non-straight community is today benefiting from, or at least have these legal rights presented to them. I also ended up getting into a gay marriage with my partner.
Okay.
So I was fully gay. And in fact, I would have probably continued in that gay lifestyle. In fact, I had at one point I couldn't even contemplate the thought about straightening out my life and becoming straight again. I was so gay, I couldn't see how I could ever straighten out my life again. But the negative consequences and the negative effects that were going on in my life were so overwhelming and so painful that I needed to figure out the absolute truth.
Are you saying those negative consequences were a direct result of a gay lifestyle?
That is what I've discovered. And
can you give me an example, Sylvie?
Well, first of all, I must say to your listeners, they're probably thinking that, it's not possible. And I didn't think it was possible either. I could not understand. But once again, our choices. To give you an example, just because we may prefer an apple versus chocolate cake, if we figure out which one is better for us, the apple is. Although if you ask someone and you say which one's better for you, they may, by their own feelings, think chocolate cake is better. But we know through research that chocolate cake is, in a long term, if you have chocolate cake every day too much, it will have long-term negative effects.
I understand what you're saying, and it's like smoking or drinking. People can have the free will to make those choices, and they have to abide and they have to live with the consequences or die with the consequences. But my issue here, Sylvie, is that you're saying that being gay is a choice when, from everybody I've spoken to about this issue, professionals, psychologists, psychiatrists, gay people themselves, they're quite adamant, and I'm straight, so I have to take their word for it, but quite adamant that it's not a choice any more than being straight is a choice.
I understand, and I thought that way too. I did. But when I dove right in to figure out the questions, now the questions that I struggled with were things like, do we have free will to live however we choose? Is there a right way to live? Does God accept homosexuality? And of course, was I born this way? So these are the questions that hounded me, and those are the questions that I sought answers for. And fortunately, those are the questions that I address in this book, because I did find the answers to them.
I'm still not sure that I've heard an example, and I don't want to harp on it, but what an unhappy consequence of a homosexual lifestyle would be for you.
Okay.
You've given me some examples, but of some metaphors maybe, but not a particular concrete example of what an unhappy consequence of a gay life is.
Okay, absolutely. Divine laws, when we break divine laws, which once again affect the quality of our life, then we are personally affected mentally, emotionally, physically, relationally, and financially.
But so is that what you're saying in terms of gay people, that that's how they are affected because they are gay?
I'm saying that it can come up against them. You see, a lot of people don't recognize that our choices do have consequences, but they do. You know, once again, giving the example of the junk food, we have the free will choice to eat whatever we want, but the natural consequence is our health will be affected. Again,
I'll take issue with you, and we're not going to agree on this, I'm sure, that being gay is no more a choice than being straight. For you obviously have lived both lifestyles, and that's why I go back to the question of whether or not you're actually bisexual. And I'm not here to judge you, Sylvie. Please understand that.
I understand.
I'm not going to tell you how to live your life and how you should have lived your life. But it just seems a little confusing to me, and I'm wondering how to clear up this confusion.
Okay. This is exactly why I wrote the book that I did, because in order to answer this, it needs to be done clearly, and it needs to be presented in a gentle way that's not going to blow anyone over, that is going to be very clear and understandable. So within this book, I do discuss about free will. And free will has a huge aspect and a huge role to play in this. And I also discuss about divine laws, about how they affect us, about even God's will for our life.
Are you suggesting that gay people are going to hell?
No, I am not suggesting that. To answer that, Jesus paid for all of our sins, so no. They're not going to hell, but the repercussions of disobeying divine law, which govern all of us, because it does affect our quality of life.
I'm still not sure what any one of those repercussions might be, though, Sylvie.
Okay. Once again,
we're running out of time, so I'm not sure we're really going to get an answer from me, to be honest.
I can certainly answer it. For me, the repercussions were I lost everything. I lost my house, my job, my health, my children. I was about to move into my car. And the only way that I discovered to stop the ball from rolling down that negative path was when I learned that I needed to step away from that lifestyle. And as hard as I challenged it. When I first heard this, I thought they are nuts, suggesting that the only way I'm going to get my life back and have everything restored back to me is to walk away from the gay lifestyle.
And because of that lifestyle, that's what you attribute all those negative experiences to?
The point being, as soon as I made the decision to stop, now, I made the decision to stop, but I couldn't do it on my own. Only God could help me. Point being, as soon as I made that decision, it was overnight. Things started to reverse, and everything got back I regained everything back. Plus, the quality of my life now is so much clearer and so much better.
We're basically out of time. I just want to ask you one last quick question. You probably heard today that President Obama came out in favor of gay marriage. Do you think that's a good idea?
I believe that he is representing society as a whole, and I believe that he is trying to win votes. I do. I believe that a lot of our legislative representatives are simply stepping away from the foundation of our Constitution that our forefathers founded the Constitution on, which was the Bible and God's Word, and they knew about divine laws. And that's why they instigated the Constitution as it is. However, our representatives nowadays are very far from that. And that's why they are changing our laws, because they're not aware of divine law and they're not aware of the negative consequences that affect us.
Sylvie, we are out of time. Thank you for joining me. I'm still to be honest, not very clear how this can apply to other folks. For you, I'm sure you're convinced that a gay lifestyle did lead to some negative episodes in your life, but to suggest that this could affect to other people, I'm not sure I agree with that. But I do appreciate you spending some time with me tonight.
I appreciate being here. Thank you.
Sylvie O'Shea joining me from Toronto this evening. She's the author of Insight in Sight. Was I Born Like This?